will end by 2052. And by the way, up to 2020, world oil consumption has been rising by about 60% because of growing transportation. For example, China and India have the highest rate of growth. China at rate 7.5% and India as 5.5%. And also natural gas will end by 2060 and coal will last until 2090. Now, if we take a closer look, none of these sources of energy will last in a century. So this is a very serious matter. And not to mention, fossil fuel extraction and transportations also have detrimental effects to the environment, such as oil spills and damage to natural habitat. And let me emphasize that this is just the extraction. Now, we will talk about how it um, uh, will distribute pollution to the environment. Like burning fossil fuels will
Yo,
release a
eyes.
large amount. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Right. First Speaker of Government team is mentioned that the fossil fuels is no longer exist, will be gone for centuries, but they don't even concern why they think that is it possible that renewable energy also not that dependable rather than the fossil fuels, while we are concerning how can you concern about the alternative energy? Do you think that it will be providing you last longer rather than fossil fuels, regardless the weather, as we know that the alternative is energy is
Order,
those kind of things?
order.
Very good question, Mister. Well, fossil fuels are finite and renewable, unfortunately, it is infinite. So even if it is intermittent, like sometimes the sun just doesn't shine and the wind just doesn't blow, we can still conserve it. Like maybe we can develop a technology for it. Maybe we can find another way. Like we are humans, we always invent something, right? But if we just rely on fossil fuel, it will certain doom for us. Now, moving on. Burning fossil fuels, we will release a large amount of greenhouse gases like CO2, carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which contributes to climate change. According to the
Go
United
please.
Nations. Yes, please.
Okay, you said the benefit on all the advantages of the renewable energy, but you didn't mention any policy that you offer. What will you do to, to prioritize the renewable energy? Thank you.
Well, that will be explained further by my two friends right beside me. Now, is it okay for me to continue? Because I'm only opening the matters here. Okay, moving on. Anyway, according to United Nations, fossil fuels are by far the largest contributor to global climate change, accounting for over 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions and nearly 90% of all carbon dioxide emissions. And you can compare this to renewable energy that produces little to no greenhouse gases, and renewable energy has no water and air pollutions. Now, lowering air pollution reduces risks for cardiovascular diseases, and it will lead to a better public health outcomes, no more concerns for further health, and it will lower impact on water pollutions. It will give easier access to clean water for the population, especially those who live in an undisclosed region. And I mean, regarding the policy, we will try to search for large land, and we'll finally build the technology for it in order to sustain the intermittent situation of renewable energy, like how solar farm and wind turbines are very, very intermittent. it will be um, very it will be okay by technology. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. For the Prime Minister spent 7 minutes 15 seconds. To continue the debate and give response to the case of the government, we call the leader of opposition. The floor is yours.
Testing, testing.
Yes,
Right.
loud and clear.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the floors. I am as the first speaker of the opposition team. Would like to say thank you for you all for coming on this debate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for centuries, human progress development have been fueled by the use of the resources of fossil fuels, like driving economic development and then improving quality of life of billions of humans. Let's say, you mentioned it like ExxonMobil, Sharon, Shell, or whatever the industries that you call it as the use of resources, they continues to supply energy to millions of businesses and industries and even homes, ladies and gentlemen. The question that we must ask here is, are we ready to risk our stable energy infrastructure and economic prosperity for alternative energy that are not yet fully reliable and scalable, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question that we must answer today, ladies and gentlemen. Before I'm going to my point, I would like to say thank you for the government team that given us the clear definition of the global of what countries it is as global countries, and also they define the alternative energy and also the fossil fuels, but they lack of the limitation and the restriction that they are not even given to us outside of the global countries that is happening. So that's why as the opposition teams would be giving you the restriction and limitation because to make sure that this debate will run smoothly, we're going to only focus on industries or companies that need the energy resources or fossil fuels or renewable energy in a big scale, ladies and gentlemen, outside of the global countries. Now, the thing is, there are three things that I want to rebut from the first proposition team. They mentioned that uh, they presume that the fossil fuels will be gone soon or later, ladies and gentlemen, but they don't give us a clear explanation of why is it possible that fossil fuels will be gone sooner or later, ladies and gentlemen. They just mention it as they presume. They don't even give us a clear clear why is it will be gone later, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll be giving you why it is not true. They said that it will be gone later in my point. The second one, they said also there will be no pollution of renewable energy, but they don't rely on they don't even concern what is actually the effect of the use of the renewable energy in a big amount of the renewable energy, ladies and gentlemen, outside of those kind of pollution things that they mentioned. And the third one, they also said that uh, the mechanism that they will give to the use of the renewable energy is searching the large land and technology and those two things, but they just mention the searching land and then the technology, but they don't even mention how they can search the land and then what kind of percentage that they assure that what kind of countries that will be the renewable energy and also those kind of technology, what kind of technology, they don't even give those kind of things, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I rebut from the first proposition team. Now I would be framing you to my opposition team. I am as first speaker, will be giving you the focus on reliability and efficiency of fossil fuels. My second speaker will be giving you the perspective on technological and economic challenges of alternative energy. And then my third speaker will be concerning about the environmental and resource of alternative energy, while also a case of study why continuous use of fossil fuels is important. Right. My point is the reliability, efficiency of fossil fuels. There are two framing here that I will be giving you. The first one is the high energy density, ladies and gentlemen. It means fossil fuels have a higher energy density compared to most alternative energy resources, making them efficient for large scale energy production. Let me give you an example, ladies. Let me give you the real high density energy. What does that mean? Like for example, coal energy density range between 24 up to 35 megajoules per kilomike. compared to renewable energy like solar, wind, and such things, they only have like 1.5 compared 1.5 megajoules per meter cubic large diameter. So it has a big, large amount of high density energy resources. Now, why is that important? High density energy is important. Let me give you an example. For example, like solar energy, for instance, they require a vast, or as you mentioned that you mentioned that there are vast and big areas land to produce a big amount of energy. Like for a small amount of alternative energy, they only produce a small amount of the energy, while they need a big a big amount, a big land of that kind of thing to produce a big amount of energy for alternative energy. While we are using fossil fuels, we don't even need those kind of those kind of big land to produce those kind of big energy outside. So it means that, as they mentioned, that there are a lot of countries now changing to alternative energy. It's impossible, ladies and gentlemen, because the amount of the power that produced by renewable energy is still low compared to fossil fuels. And the second one is about the dependable supply. They also said that it will be gone sooner or later, but fossil fuels actually provide a reliable and steady supply of energy, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
Yeah, you said renewable energy would be impossible for the nations. Are you specifically talking about Indonesia or any other countries? Because
Right.
some countries are already developed enough for that.
Right. We both agree, right? As your proposition team and we are opposition team agree that we are talking about the global countries. I'm not talking about Indonesia only, right? And then the second one, dependable supply. I have told you before. Now, let me give you an analogy, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine fossil fuels are like a well-stocked pantry in your house. Like you have plenty of foods, you have plenty stack of can or like you store you already know where is actually the place you need to take those kind of foods in your pantry. In terms of reliability, you can you can count to provide meals whenever you're hungry, regardless the weather or whatever it is. You just know that you can take. So from that analogy, like it is easy for you to use that fossil fuels, take that fossil fuels from whatever you want, from wherever you have already know the place. So it's even easier based on the dependable supply compared to renewable energy, as I mentioned before, that you cannot count depends on the weather as an element. So that's why we believe that it is even impossible to prioritize the renewable energy compared to the alternative energy because they don't even ready yet the other element. So that's why we win. Thank you.
Thank you for the leader of opposition. You spent 7 minutes 17 seconds for this round. To respond the case of the opposition, we summoned the second speaker of the government team. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Good afternoon. Thank you for this occasion, and thank you for the opposition team for the arguments that from to us. And I'm the second speaker. Be I'm sorry. I'll be say my opinion about the first speaker of the opposition team. Uh, the I think the renewable energy must be prioritized, and so many factors have to be considered to be these renewable resources to be done. Okay, maybe right now it's not ready yet. It's also kind of true, but the technologies these days already close to the people can exploit the renewable energy to for human use. And before we before we try to exploit the energy, we must be um, survey the the type of energy that very uh, that uh, very similar to our for the land that want to make the renewable energy. So you can say that in Middle East that so many desert, so the very good for renewable energy is for solar panels, and then for we can survey for the location. It must be needs a large amount of place to plant the solar panels, but
Right.
go ahead, please.
Right, thank you. You're mentioning that the Middle East have a lot of place to build renewable energy, but do you think that it will even lower in the terms of cost of infrastructure that you want to build? Well, we have a fossil fuel infrastructure already that you don't need even to focus building something new. While you have something already built, then you can even create more than renewable energy.
Okay, so if we are focusing on Middle East, okay, there's so many oil, right? Oil factors, oil industries on Middle East, but why not also we try to uh, improve the renewable energy for continuing the supply of energy? Because for my first speaker, I agree with my first speaker because we don't know anybody in this world don't know for sure that this oil or fossil energies be running out. Even I, you, even all people in this world cannot know. But if we continue prioritize this kind of renewable energy, maybe we can uh, we can go simultaneously between the fossil energy and the renewable energy. So when the times when the time comes when this fossil energy runs out, so the renewable energy will continue supply continuously, and then and according to the International Renewable Energy Agency, the energy produced from renewable sources was comparable in price to that of fossil fuels. Renewables have low and predictable operation costs, reducing price volatility associated with fossil fuels. An article by Dominic Dudley in Forbes explains this further. He says the cost of electricity from developing new fossil fuel plants range from $0.05 per kilowatt hour to $0.15 per kilowatt hours. By comparison, hydroelectric power comes in at an average of $0.05 per kilowatt hour. Onshore wind, solar, voltaic, biomass, and geothermal below $0.10 per kilowatt, and offshore wind at $0.13 per kilowatt hour. Some countries, such as Denmark and Costa Rica, have achieved high levels of renewable energy and adoption, and many others are following suit.
Yeah, please.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, could you please describe and explain to us if you build a new renewable resource, what will you do to the existing fuel company, especially in Middle East? Thank you.
Okay. If the renewable energy is, we can exploit the renewable energy, we can go side by side by the fossil energy also, but we have to prioritize this renewable energy because this renewable energy is less long than the fossil energy. So this renewable energy is very important for our future and for our generation below us. Maybe that's all for me. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Okay, thank you for the second speaker of the government team. You spent 6 minutes and 30 seconds for this case. Okay, now to give response to the case of the government, we would like to give the time for the second speaker of the opposition to give your arguments. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for Ms. Moderator, the honorable adjudicators, and all of the participants. But firstly, can you listen me properly?
Yes,
Okay.
loud and clear.
Okay, before I go to my rebuttal, first I would like to give some example from developed country just like Spain. I have watched National Geographic in Spain. There any given place named Seville. Seville is one of the city which got many sunlight in a year than the other area in Spain. Then the Spain government tried to make some power plant by using the sunlight by reflecting it with mirror to generate more power to electricity. But in fact, the effectivity of this power plant is still not working properly because the renewable plants, its tendency always affected by the weather. And then I'm going into my rebuttal for the Deputy Prime Minister from Jayapura, from government. You said that it's can be worked side by side between renewable energy and fossil fuel energy, but you don't even mention how the starting point is begin, how the priorities can be take place. Because as we know, most of the countries over the world are still dominating by developed countries. That developed countries still rely their economic to the home industries and micro business that still need a very large or amount of fossil fuel to generate or motivate their production tools. So we really believe that fossil fuel is still the first choice of our needs to the society over the world. And I would like to go to my points. I would like to elaborate about technological and economic challenge of alternative energy. Whereas it would be elaborated by 4 sub-points. First, it's about intermittency. Alternative energy sources like solar and wind are intermittent and dependent on weather condition, which can lead to inconsistent energy supply. Just like as we know that in the whole world, there are so many countries that have a different season, just like we in Indonesia, we have 2 seasons, and in Europe that have 4 seasons. So we believe that it's not too effective to take the advantage from the wind and solar because it's still affected by the weather condition. While in the other hand, fossil fuel is always ready or always accept to be used by our industry and all over our needs. And then for the second is storage solutions. Storage solutions, effective energy storage solution for alternative energy are still in development, are currently expensive and inefficient. As we know that fossil fuel itself is the power. Just it doesn't seem like the windmill or the solar cell, which needs it needs to be processed. We have to take some metal or from the mining equipment to form or to create the storage. So the fossil is still more effective than renewable energy. And the third is high initial cost. The initial investment for alternative energy infrastructure is significantly higher than continuing to use existing fossil fuel infrastructure. As we know that even though in this technology era, but just like I have said before, that most of us in this world are still dominating by developed country who still can affordable the equipment of how to generate the renewable power. So that's what we are afraid of, just like a monopoly by developed countries who cannot manipulating the price of the equipment of the renewable energy, which can lead into instability in our world. Okay, take your time for POI.
Thank you. You previously mentioned about investment. Let's take a look at Indonesia, for example. It has 7.8% of its total investment in the energy sector is on renewable energy, but more than 90% of that is in fossil fuels. Now, if Indonesia is continuing to rely on fossil fuels, it may leave its coal assets stranded and result in significant investments lost as renewable energy is rapidly becoming cost efficient worldwide. How do you respond to that?
Okay, about the initial investment, we acknowledge and recognize that Indonesia has tried their best to invest in the renewable energy, but as we said that as a developed country, we still rely on the fossil fuel too much. So it can be changed, but gradually. But we still have belief that for the long term, fossil fuel is still have a more effectiveness than renewable energy. Just like Indonesia has investment for electricity car, but in the other hand, we still cannot get the overcome how to handle the waste of the electrical car. Just like the electrical car use lithium battery, the lithium battery is one of the radioactive, the most dangerous radioactive. If it's been wasted, then Indonesia still. From the news I read that Indonesia still not invest for the long term of how to handle the waste of the lithium battery. Okay, and I continue for the last point is economic impact. A rapid shift to alternative energy could lead to economic instability, job loss in traditional energy sector, and increased energy for consumer. Okay, just like I said, I take example from Indonesia as developing country. We still rely our economic to macro business and then home industrial. They really need fossil fuel to generate or moderate their production tools. So we still cannot to follow that the change. Moreover, there's still a value amount of and a big gap between us and the developed country over the world. So that's why we as the opponents believe and strongly believe that fossil fuel is still the effective power to be prioritized than the renewable energy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Speaker. The second speaker of the opposition team spent 7 minutes and 2 seconds. To respond the case of the opposition, we will summon the third speaker of the government. The floor is yours.
Thank you for the time. To answer for the how to handle the batteries waste. As we know together, the batteries come from lithium and nickel. As we know together, there are some technology in advantage called such as Kirui company makes the recycle machine which capable to recycling various type of lithium batteries throughout the process as shredding, drying, crushing, and screening, so that the graphite powder, cobalt, and the dangerous lithium can be separated from the lithium batteries. The whole process is designed to produce with no dust pollutions. We move on to the next one. Waste management and hazardous knowledge should be taught broadly and massively around the nations, so that as we know together that in Indonesia, you mentioned that development country in Indonesia does not have ability to manage the battery waste. The fact that we have the lack of awareness to bring more catastrophic about the waste management. So we believe that our policy to bring more about the knowledge about waste management broadly will affect this one, and the infrastructure to collect and site for recycling should be built, and it costs money, but we have the multilateral national
POI.
Good.
Right. You mentioned before that you are concerning about the search of large land, search of technology, and now you're mentioning that you're concerning the lack of awareness of the resources itself, whether it's Indonesia or in the global countries. How do you concern? Why don't you And how can you concern about those kind of two while you also concerned about that one? Thank you.
No, at this point, I answered the question from the previous speaker about the waste of battery management. The waste management should be taught broadly because we have the lack awareness about the wasting the batteries. So that we need to taught the nation of the society how to handle and management to collect and trust the waste more wisely. And move on. I strongly agree
POI.
with the. Okay.
Okay, as you mentioned before that the world try to manage the waste of the radiative or the renewable energy, but in fact, about manage the waste, all of us know about the Japan's nuclear power plant, and we know that Japan is one of the developed country, and I think it's the same case within lithium and nuclear is a radioactive waste. And Japan nowadays have a problem with China because Japan's discarded their nuclear waste into the sea, which
Order,
increased
order,
the tension between China and Japan. So
Order.
how do you manage it? Thank you.
order.
For the one for the nuclear waste, let me bring it at the end of the argument. For the first point that I want to agree about our deputy, the renewable energy is reducing costs compared to using fossil fuels. It also worth mentioning that the continuous advancement in renewable energy technologies are increasing efficiency and reducing costs, making renewable more competitive. Add that to the fact that some installation can be recycled, making it more cost effective and environmental friendly. For example, the Khalid found out that 80 to up to 85% of wind turbines can be recycled, with blades being a main exception. Another example of cost efficiency based in switching from the coal-fired power station or coal power plant to renewable and clean geothermal power plant. As we know together, the investment could be high, but we are living in the collaborative world. For example, in Banyuwangi, recent days, the Pertamina geothermal and one of the company from USA found out that the EGEN will bring more geothermal to cover up Banyuwangi and other cities for the electricity. And we found from that, in sense of that, the power plant unaffected by economic condition, in sense of the fluctuations of fuel price does not affect earth heat productivity. As we know together, the availability of geothermal energy could reach up to 95% throughout the year, will be one of the reasons of switching the coal-based power source. As we know together, the coal comes from Kalimantan and should be shipping to Jakarta or Tangerang, whereas the site tides and the weather we should look after, and the cost of transportation should be needed in that one. And also support what Prime Minister has said about the how fossil fuels can badly affect the living beings in environment. I would like to add that there are significant human costs of using fossil fuel production, particularly in the term of health and safety. Workers in industry are exposed to the toxic environment and dangerous working conditions. To add the point, transitioning to renewable energy is essential for meeting international climate agreement, such as the Paris Agreement. And encouraging business to adopt renewable energy practice aligned with corporate social responsibility and ethical business practices is one of the policies that we are mentioning. Praise like Go Green and Save the Planet have been widely open business lately. It's good to support them. For example, in Indonesia, I take Indonesia as the example. Minister for Economic Affairs Indonesia, Mr. Erlangga, in 2020, apologies, 2022, says that the Indonesia government will also implement a carbon pricing policy in the form of the carbon cap and trade, as well as carbon tax scheme in 2030. This policy will set an upper limit of carbon emission in certain sector and introduce a trade on carbon tax scheme. The carbon cap is represent upper limit of greenhouse gas emissions allowed in a scheme or in the world, the total number of allowance. With the fact and the argument that I've already given, we strongly believe that the countries should prioritize renewable energy source over the fossil fuels. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your speech. The government's whip spent 7 minutes and 16 seconds. To close the case of the opposition, we could call the opposition whip. The time is yours. You are still inaudible, sir. Could you check your microphone?
Check, am I audible now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. We all agree that renewable energy is important, but the question is, should we prioritize it over the fuel energy? Or the question is, are we ready to change from the fossil fuel energy to the renewable energy? Before I deliver my statement, my speech, I would like to give some rebuttal for the House team. The first, second, and third speaker already explained about the good, the benefit, the positive effects of the renewable energy. Yes, we know that, and I think, yeah, we agree with that. But they failed to deliver, to propose the policy, how they would prioritize the renewable energy over the fossil energy. And why I'm sure the policy is really important, because by the history, there's a country like Spain that try to implement the policy about the renewable energy in 2000. They give subsides too high to the solar panel. And then what's happened? In 2012, they cut the subsidies. And what happened? There's a lot of bankruptcy in the solar energy companies all over the countries. That's what will happen if you not prepare well the policy. So if you want to give a priority to the renewable energy, we need the best policy. And the House failed to describe and explain it to us. That's why we disagree with today's motion. And to the second speaker, the second speaker tell us about the low cost of the renewable energy. Yes, it is true. But to build the infrastructure of the renewable energy, such as the wind turbine and also solar panel, they need very rare material. For example, for solar panel, they need indium, gallium, tellurium, silver. And for wind turbines, they need neodymium, dysprosium, and boron. And all those materials is very rare in the nature. So even though you said the cost is very low, the search for this material is very hard, and also spend a lot of cost. And then for the third speaker said mentioned about the awareness about the human research. Then this is kind of contradictory. Like, one of the things why the people still use fossil fuel other than the renewable energy, because there's still a lack of awareness in the human research. Then why don't you prioritize to educate the people to use the renewable energy, other than you force the people to use the renewable energy? As we know, most of the countries that already implement the renewable energy, like Iceland or any other Northern European country, they already have a great human research. They have a high IQ, and they already have priorities. That's why if you say about awareness, you should put the priority to educate the people. Okay, let's go ahead for the POI.
Right, you mentioned about policy. If we are talking about policy, let's say that the government needs to make some move. Are you sure that companies behind fossil fuel will take kindly to that and give way easily to the policy? Because politics sometimes here are the main source of problem.
you are the government, of course, you have the authority to force the company to do whatever policy you want. If they don't, then they can use another energy and do another things or the factor, not use the energies like that. I mean, you are the house now, you are the government, you are the one that should give the policy. Okay, I will go to deliver my speech, continue my first and second speaker. They already tell you about why we should not give priority to the renewable energy, because my first speaker already tell about the reliability and efficiency, and my second speaker already tell about the technological and economic challenge, and my point will be about environmental and research concern. The first point is about what I said before about the rare material. The production of alternative energy technologies such as solar panel and wind turbine requires extraction of rare earth material, like what I said before, and that really damaging the environmental. And the second point is about the land use. As my first speaker already told you about the build of the infrastructure of the renewable energy need large-scale alternative energy projects and often require significant land use, which can lead to habitat destruction and other environment impact. For the example, in 1980, in Altamont Pass, California, 100 birds and bats killed due to collision with the turbine blades. That's why I always asking about the policy, because with no good policy, there'll always be loss, even though you are forcing people to use the renewable energy. And the third point is about life cycle emission. The life cycle emission of alternative energy technologies from production to disposal can be significant and must be considered when evaluating their environment impact. The third speaker already mentioned about the recycle, but the data said that even though in Indonesia if we use the using the recycle process, they still need a lot of fuel power. So every process, the life cycle emission, they still need the fossil fuels. That's why I continue my speech about the case for continued use of fossil fuels. The first point is about transitional role. Fossil fuels can serve as a traditional energy source while renewable technologies and infrastructure continue to develop and improve. And the next one is about the economic stability. To maintaining the use of fossil fuels can help ensure economic stability and prevent energy shortage during the transition period. So we use the transitional period before we fully implement the renewable energy from the fossil fuel. And the last one is about technology advancement, such as carbon capture, that I think it's more prioritized about the carbon capture storage that can help mitigate environmental impact. I think that's all, and we disagree with today's motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the speech. The opposition whip spans 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay, so it's very tense debate. Everyone tries to give their best arguments, but to close up the debate and also to summarize the whole debate from the opposition side of the house, we will call the opposition reply. The time is yours.
Testing.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen and panels, we're today's debating about whether we're prioritizing the renewable energy or using of fossil fuels. We're answering whether it is reliable or is it scalable, whether it's the renewable energy or the fossil fuels of the usage. Ladies and gentlemen, government actually, the proposition team as a government team is already failed for the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, because they don't even give us on how they even actually handle the alternative energy itself over the fossil fuels. They're just mentioning the reason why is actually alternative energy is important rather than fossil fuels. but they just and the second one is why they failed for the very first time, because they just only presume, they just mentioning maybe on the using of technology, on using the large language, but they don't even know how the mechanism they should support the alternative energy to be used over the fossil fuels. So it means that on this debate, we cannot just presume, we cannot just assume for something special about the mechanism, as my especially they are acting as government legislation, but they don't have any plan for that. And then, okay, let's play that. They mentioned that 7.5% Indonesia's people, 7.5% is focusing Indonesia is on alternative energy, and more than 99% focusing on the fossil fuels. But they mentioned 17. They mentioned that Indonesia, in this case, that only 7.5% focusing on the renewable energy. Well, they're also concerning about the human, whether it is ready or not to use the alternative energy. So it's contradictory for the third one. And then the fourth is they also mentioned that the third speaker of their team mentioned that we are going their data is actually not correct, ladies and why, because they mentioned about Indonesia's how Indonesia is concerned about the environment. So Indonesia is actually using a carbon capture system, as they mentioned, while carbon capture system is different like renewable energy, as they define itself. So it means that they define something, but they don't even know what their definition at very first time. It is different when renewable energy and carbon capture, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what we're concerned is about whether they are concerning a renewable energy over fossil fuels. Let's play if they say that it is not even efficient for using fossil fuels. Let's say that it is even expensive it's even dangerous for using fossil fuels, but they don't even give us on how actually they build that infrastructure with those kind of amount of money that considering that we have already fossil fuels company that is exists, ladies and they don't even give the real amount that kind of big things that they want to build, ladies and gentlemen. So it is even impossible for them for the very first time. So that's why actually our team is actually answering whether it is even it is good to prioritizing the fossil fuels for now, because all of the countries of all over the world is not ready yet for the alternative energy. What we are concerned about is actually why don't the government just concern about the way that actually focusing on nuclear energy and also the carbon capture system, because it is even more efficient, it is even more have a high density amount of power rather than a renewable energy that they don't even have any infrastructure yet. They don't even know what to do with the technology, they don't even know what to do with the human resources. So it means that the government team is already lost for the very first time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opposition's reply. You spent 3 minutes 55 seconds. Now to wrap up all the case of the government, we will call the government reply. You can check the speaker. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, loud
All
and
right.
clear.
All right. Thank you for your input, Mr. Opposition Whip. And ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, our side still strongly believes that we need to prioritize renewable energy sources over fossil fuels. Now, I admit the opposition has raised valid concerns, but this actually can be addressed through strategic planning and technological advancement. Now, you previously mentioned about policy that, and you said, we are the government, why don't we make the policies? Yeah, in theory, that is what's supposed to happen, but you forgot that companies and the big brothers behind it sometimes able to monopolize the government and doing political damage in order to make them stay on top. Like heavy influence on dirty politics shall not be swept under the rug, because as you may remember from our previous argument, the government still needs to calculate the investments that they made. By saying that, I mean the companies, coal companies like in Indonesia, they are like top 10 of them have very large investments. And if we just ignore this, the nation will be destroyed by mounting debts. Now, moving on. And also the opposition failed to acknowledge that climate change ladies and gentlemen, is happening, and it is very, very serious. Um, then this opposition seems so supportive of fossil fuels, but I noticed that do not acknowledge the fact that the environment resulted by activities regarding fossil fuels are toxic, and it would endanger the people living around it, such as oil spills for the workers and maybe for the risk of health concern. And also, you seem to put us in the actually ignoring the benefits of fossil fuels, but you are wrong. We can still use fossil fuels, and we just want to prioritize renewable energy. Both can go hand in hand, but prioritizing renewable energy is going to be number one. It will make some people lose jobs indeed, but we can easily transfer the same people to the similar jobs, probably without requiring further training, so it can save money. And we admit that we do not have a clear picture of how to apply technologies to handle the intermittency of wind and solar farm, but technologies are advancing, and it can be handled by technology like batteries made of lithium and nickels, and it will, I believe, be more progressive than that. Thank you. And still talking about investments, it is a concern. It still heavily relies on fossil fuels instead of renewable fuel, which is more cost effective. And for the searching of the land to build these installations of wind turbines and solar farms, we can cooperate with local forces. We can make friends with them and encourage them to cooperate with us, the government, for land assessment to identify areas. And we we want to save the planet, but we do not want to disturb the environment at the same time. So we will avoid sensitive areas. So we will not disturb the ecosystem. We will not block the animals from their burrows and kill them in order to build what we want for renewable energy. And so, to summarize, by prioritizing renewable energy sources, countries can achieve a more sustainable, economically stable, and secure future. Because fossil fuels are finite, sir. It's very slow process of dead animals and plants, like millions of years, and we are just keep using it. It will, I'm telling you, it will be running out in less than a century. That is very serious. Thank you, adjudicators and fellow debaters. Very nice debate from you all. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Okay, and thank you too. The government reply spans 4 minutes and 5 seconds. So congratulations to each team for completing the semifinal round. Give a big applause to everyone here. Okay, so it's like a really tense debate. Everyone tries to bring up data and also tries to give as many arguments as they can, including like how everyone tries to deliver the best arguments possible. And I really like that each of you try to engage with its arguments, which means that no arguments are left, and you try to give your best response either by giving the POI or through the rebuttals. Okay, so once again, congratulations. Before we proceed, and also we know who the winner for this round, which also will proceed to the grand finals. Okay, so we would like to ask and invite our panel's adjudicators to give their feedbacks and also constructive criticisms for this debate. Miss Lily, could you give some of your comments and feedbacks to the team?
Of course, thank you, moderator. Wow, what a brilliant debate. Give applause for all of the participants. Yeah, both of team demonstrate their debating ability very well, successfully and skillfully. Thank you so much. Congratulations for both of the team. Okay, I would like to give some feedback for your debate this afternoon. For the pro team, Jayapura, you give the clear definition about the motion and also clear the timeline. And for the contra, you give clear definition. I mean, you accept the definition. It's good. And so the debate can run as we expect. And then for the pro team, it's a suggest for you that you have to give a brief explanation for what the first speaker and second speaker will talk about, so that the contra will not ask you about what is the topic we'll talk about, because it takes time. It takes your time. And then for the contra, you give the brief explanation about the task or what the second speaker and third speaker will talk about. It's very good. And then for the content, you are all doing great. I'm pretty sure both of the team have done a lot of research, so they can structure and build the case very well with relevance data and coherence data and logical thinking, of course. And both of you made clear flow from one argument to another argument. And then for the use of language, both of you use the appropriate language. It's clear, concise, and effective. For delivery, it is very good. The delivery is very good. Both of you use good pace, intonation, volume, and pitch, and also gesture. I love the gesture given by the contra team. But suggestion for the contra team, because this is online, it is better for you to sit closer each other and put your camera closer, so then we can see, audience can see your eye contact, because eye contact is very important. That the object here in your mind, that the objective of the speaker is to persuade the audience, so with your eye contact you can persuade the audience impactfully, more powerful. And then for the closing, both of them gave effective closing and impactful closing. And I really enjoy this debate because both of you use the moderate intonation, so then it is easy for audience to absorb what you mean, to accept what your ideas. It's very good. And then one more, that make sure that every speech consists of introduction and then content and conclusion. Make sure you make it all, so audience or audience can understand what is your conclusion. I think that's all. You are all doing very great. I'm so proud of you, and congratulations for all of you, and also for the winner. Keep fighting for the next final. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lily, for your comments. I do agree that everyone gives their best performance and everyone try to engage, which makes the debate will be more interesting, even for the audience to see. Okay, now next we will invite Mr. Bara to give also your comment, feedback, or maybe constructive criticism for this debate. Please do.
Thank you, Mrs. Moderator, Mrs. Utami. It's a time to see you. I'm very proud to you guys because as an adjudicator here, you have a good pronunciation of English. Wow, this is a good generation, great generation. You use English so fluently. I'd like to say very proud for this debate. So very tough for me also as an adjudicator to take who's the winner team here. But I don't want exactly focus to the content, but you have a strong strong opinion, because this is a kind of topic. It's a very have it's full of treatment. You have you can trap everybody. You can trap the government. You can trap the opponent teams as well as, but you have a good defense, good strategy to handle that your opinion. Very proud to see that you have a good opinion. But if you use data, I just want to advise you that if you use data based on source, you can tell the since what? Since years. From for example is if you have searched from Wikipedia, you must tell the years because of why? Because the condition will be if you use that 5 years ago or more, this may be not valid right now because when you have to be a researcher or something, so you have an assignment to be a like make a thesis, something like that. You must have a valid data, valid source, valid background, valid historical background when you have time to make a thesis or make some like a scripture assignment job like that. Also agree with Mrs. Lily, but the opponent team so far away, I cannot see your face, but I just enjoy your
Tone.
word
Tone.
tone, word emphasis. It's good as well as I know about the how you can manage your time, manage your uh, opinion for to do with the best. But unfortunately, I cannot see your voice. I cannot see your face here. I cannot see the expression. But I love very much for this kind of debate. Well, finally, it's a very tough. I don't. If you not go to the next step, don't you worry, guys, or don't you be very sad because this is kinds of semifinals is a you can step here is a very nice step and also very proud for you. And if you not fail to join the final, you can do it in the next year. And first of all, and ends of all, I like so very proud as educator here. You great generation, you great job with English, and I would like to say that I'm very proud with you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the comment, Mr. Bara. So everyone, please give applause to the educators. Okay, yes, I do agree that everyone is here has given their best performance and also become the best representative even for their DBC, right? So anyone who proceeds to the grand finals, you already are the winner of yourself. Okay, so next, we would like to excuse Miss Lily and also Mr. Bara to the break room so they can decide who the winner for this round. Okay, meanwhile, for the participants, you can remain in this room. Well, we can also discuss a bit maybe for everyone who enjoys and also watch our live performance right now. Even though I know that in some places it's like, lunchtime, that I believe everyone is starting to get hungry, thirsty, but I hope you still enjoy the show. So for the host, we would like to see maybe anyone here gives the best comment or like can show the screen who gives the best comment. So maybe we can give comment or even read. Right, okay. And also for the both teams, you already have proceed from the elimination round, right? Which means you tried your best. Maybe even you squeezed every tiny single cell of your brain to give the best comment possible, right? Okay, so here we have some comments from our dear audiences here. And congratulations to them because you can get your door prize by contacting our CP there, right? But let's read. Miss Mariska say that whatever the result will be, you guys all rock. I do agree, Miss. Bright shining your people. Okay, successful of the old, proud of you guys. I agree. We do all proud of each of the representative here. Okay, and second one, we have Miss Sarah. Oh, I think that she's a big what is it? Fans and also cheer up for the Makassar team. Go Makassar, menyala, yes, with all the red and also the fire there. Yeah, show the spirit of Makassar's team there. Okay, the last one, we have the comment from Chika Channel. She said, eagles flying, soaring in the sky, ready to sweep for the prey to the semifinal of today. Mas Beno and Jayapura will lead the way. Menyala Mutiara Timur, wis. Everyone said menyala. Di lama-lama, it's going to be a lot of fire here. But I hope that it means that the spirit within of you, like spirit of the debating and also spirit of how you can still like what is it? Give your constructive criticism and logical here. Okay. Now, we still wait for the adjudicators to make their, what is it, decisions. In the meantime, we will listen to some music so you can just enjoy, relax, and enjoy whatever it is. Thank you, guys. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, now I already have the result of our debate today. Okay. But before that, are you guys nervous? Let's ask the Jayapura team. Are you guys nervous?
Not really,
How's your
because the
Not
opposing team
really.
is really good. So
Okay. You are all good. Everyone
Yeah.
here is like really excellent. Okay. What about the DPC Makassar team? Are you guys like nervous?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit.
Just a
Why you
bit.
guys? Hmm?
A
Yes,
little bit.
please.
Yes, a little bit nervous.
A little bit nervous. Okay. So, once again, I would like to congratulate everyone here because you have proceeded this far until the semifinals. And remember that every of you is already the winner, right? You show the courage not only to represent your DPC, but also courage to deliver the idea, which we know that it's not easy job, right? To talk in front of the public and also to deliver the idea, including to speak what is in your mind. Okay, that's really excellent job that you guys do. So I hope that whoever the winner will also give their best performance in the grand final. But whoever still cannot proceed to the next round, don't be discouraged because you are still doing great and you can have like the opportunity maybe for the next year since it's an annual event, right? Okay, so the team who will proceed to the grand final round with the average score of for 84.9. Congratulations, opposition team DPC Makassar. You guys proceed to the grand finals, okay, which will be held on Thursday, guys. Okay, so congratulations for the Makassar team. Would you like to give a bit of your speech here?
Yeah, I would like to say thanks a lot for moderator, all the educators and participants. It's really tough debate, and we really appreciate our opponents from DPC Iatca Jayapura. Actually, Jayapura, I have some impressive because my first GT is on Sentani. I put some regards to Kak Chika and then Kak Mariska and so on. But overall, today is really tough debate, and we wish you all the best for the next time and for the futures hold next time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, DPC Makassar, and congratulations. Okay, maybe also we need to have some words from DPC Jayapura. Could you give like just a short remarks?
Thank you, Madam Moderator, for this occasion, and congratulations for DPC Iatca Makassar for your win. And I know from before before this semifinals that I have to fight against my senior right there is Mr. Rio. That's only my mind is, oh, this is my nightmare. Okay, so congratulations again, and may God follows you until the final. Please
Thank you. Thank you,
give
Jayapura. Thank you.
those people on Jakarta that we in the Eastern Iatca is the best of all.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Jayapura. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Really
Okay,
appreciate it.
thank you. Right. Okay, that's like a really motivational, right? Like give your best shot because indeed you will be facing Jakarta teams for the grand final. So make sure that you will give your best performance and show that everyone is equals here, right? Okay, now guys, we come to almost the end of the sessions, and can I ask everyone to turn on their camera because we need to take a few documentations and just take some pictures here. Okay, everyone, could you please like turn on
We
your
try to
camera,
get close
please?
so everybody can see us.
Right.
Yes,
Okay,
you
just
are. You
move a
must do
bit
that.
closer. Okay, we have some here. Everyone has to turn on. Okay, so many people there. Okay, give your best smile, guys, so we can take picture in 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's do once more. Once more picture. You can give like strike your best pose, everything. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. Congratulations, everyone here. Congratulations for the team. Thank you also for the panels of educators, Miss Lily and also Miss Bara. Thank you for also the
Utami.
timekeepers
Thank
and
you. Thank
everyone
you.
here. Okay, so congratulations and see you guys on the grand finals. Good afternoon.